So in Australia, I've worked at White Salt, then I was in co-op dining, went to Hamptons. I've helped out at Clark's a lot of times. With the further group, I've gone overseas to Oslo to help out Maymo. Went to Ledbury as a stage as well, Luca, Two Lights, and in the Fat Duck in England. I started as, my sister's the one who got me the job. I was like going up the ranks, so I went to KP, then I went to cook, then I went to the bar side. I was doing a bit of waitering and bartending. But then I realised I was having so much more fun in the kitchen. And then Tim and Claire, the owners of White, who had been telling me for years that I should be an apprentice, finally signed me up. I was very lucky that I went to co-op dining, which there was only a team of 3 of us, but we were getting big cuts of lamb in and everything under the sun. We were making our own kombucha, our own cheese and everything. And as an apprentice, that was actually really good skills to learn, so early. I definitely loved doing competitions, mainly because I was getting to a point with White, so I was working for a chef. I didn't really respect him that much, and he was kind of like the way he was talking about food was just destroying my passion. And I was actually on the borders of quitting before there was a competition for Apprentice of the Year, which I was like, okay, if I do well in this, I'll keep going. And then doing the competitions not only gives you more confidence to try new things, but it just gives you more confidence in yourself that you can actually do it. Apprentice of the Year was a competition through the TAFE. Yeah, I won 3 years in a row. Very lucky. I was just always kind of wanting to push myself. I never really wanted to do a basic dish. I was always reading different cookbooks and trying to figure out how I can incorporate that to an Australian dish. The team competitions are different, mainly because with individual competitions, it's all on you. You're just always focused. While for me, for working with other team members, I was kind of a bit worried at first. We are close friends, but we have had our rows. We have there's definitely going to be arguments. We're not going to always be a happy family. There's going to be things that we're going to disagree on, but at the same time, we are chefs and we are professionals, so when it comes down to it, we are going to do what we're trained to do, and that is to cook. The main reason I was doing the competitions is so I can build up my resume, build up my skills, so I can go work in a Michelin star restaurant. So I was always training to get to that level. Even when I had 2-3 weeks off during Christmas, and I went to London to stage at Ledbury just so I can work in first, see what a Michelin star restaurant does, see how they work. I just emailed them. I told them my situation. I was an apprentice. I'm going to be there for 3 weeks. Can I come work with you? And they were more than happy to oblige. So from there, I was lucky enough to get an email when I applied to Clove Club from a chef there, Chase, who's opening up a restaurant, and if I wanted to be part of the starting brigade. And so I was like, yeah, that sounds amazing, a great opportunity. So I got my ticket, went there, and we got it up and running. Then I just kind of wanted to change paths again, and then I saw that there was a position open at Fat Duck, so I applied and yeah, shot my shot. It has always been a dream to work there because I've always loved Heston's food. The way he thinks is just out of this world. What it is kind of, we want to send you on a journey. So we'll start at we'll start with your breakfast course, and then we'll go on to you're going to travel to the sea, and then the nostalgic courses, we'll ask you nostalgic memories. So from there, we want to create a dish which will make it more personalized for you. From there, we'll just keep going on. We're just taking you on a journey which you'll be following with a magnifying glass, with a map. And honestly, to see some people's reactions is just it's so heartwarming. There was this one lady, it was actually, it's really funny looking back at it because we were all about to leave the kitchen because we all do it in a single file, just so we don't chefs going in and out or customers eating. So we were all getting ready to leave, and then one of the wait staff came to me and be like, no, you have to stay. And in my head, I was just kind of freaking out, being what have I done to this? Did I screw up a dish? My paranoia and my anxiety was just hitting me hard. And then she came, and she was half in tears, but because I made her an eggplant chutney, which she was requested as a nostalgic memory. And she was so touched that it actually tasted like her passed away mother's. And it took her to like a memory of a kid being with her mum, and seeing like that reaction is so heartwarming as well, and like just like gives you such an uplifting spirit. It's amazing to see how we can touch people just by like as simple as food. There's those days where you are very stressed. You're like, does hit you hard, but at the same time, your passion always just like to get back in there is so strong. Like there was one time I was working at Hamptons. This is like a great example, just like how headstrong chefs are. I was working the pasta and the fish section, and I fainted at one point because I had done like pretty much a full day and I just wasn't drinking enough water. And then sous chef like took me outside, got some more water, had a breather, and then I was like, okay, let's go back in. And then I went back in, and then we were going completely fine for an hour, and then I fainted again. But then I wanted to go back in because I just wanted to finish service and prove that I could do it to myself, and sous chef saw how like passionate and headstrong I was, but just because of the fact that if I did fall, I could hit a pan or something dangerous could happen. So it was like, no, you have to go home. Like, so I was annoyed at him at the time, but in the end of the day, he is in the right to saying that, but I just wanted to get back into that kitchen. As for finding the dish, ideas will literally like just come when they come. Like that's the thing about them. I will literally just be like walking down the street, and then I'll see something in the street, and that will just like give me an idea. The one I would be currently creating. So it's a cured kingfish with a scampi, which is raw, but it's been mixed with a nice verjus and pepperberry salt, which gets on top of a cucumber and apple ceviche. Then I've made my interpretation of the sand. I've done what I think is like an Australian version. So to make the sand, I've used the scampi shells to make a scampi oil. And then I've made a saltbush stuka. So saltbush is like a native plant you find at the beach. The thing that excites me about this, it's just such a clean dish. Like it's not trying to do anything hard. Like each component on the dish is just complementing the next thing. There's nothing competing. And kingfish is definitely probably one of my favorite ingredients on the side, just because it is just so like tasty. Just even like raw, it's just like has a flavor that most fish just don't have. Through the years, I just got inspiration just from like other chefs as well. Like Stephen Clark is a huge one. A good friend of mine, Chris Malone, he's always been like very driven, and he's younger than me, but the way he's like pursuing everything gives me the same drive. And then obviously just like some of the chefs around the world, like Heston, Hackett. I would want to be a head chef. I don't think I would want to own a restaurant, mainly because I rather just like being in the kitchen, just creating dishes. Like I've done probably the same dish more than 100 times, easy, just like to make sure like those flavors are always 100%. The main advice I would have to like anyone, it doesn't matter if you're an apprentice or how far along you are, if you're going into a new kitchen, just like always ask before you start doing. If you go into like a restaurant and just presume you know the recipe, you're going to be wasting time, energy, ingredients. Don't have like an ego. That's the main thing I've found. There's so much to cooking. No one's going to know everything about cooking. Like there's always going to be something new, every technique, new ingredients.